So, Felicia, I don't know what happened to the time. I was doing very well, and then all of a sudden, someone broke in and stole the time from me.
It's still the time for you.
They just
I don't
ripped it
know.
right out of my hands. I don't know what happened.
I'm all the way in the end. It's that SI. You know, I get pushed to the bottom.
There you
Always
go.
the end of the in alphabetical order.
That's just the way it is with your last names go first. You
My
know,
whole life.
we'll do it something different the next time. Anyway, but you
Okay.
you can start off with your platform if you want. But I want to make it up. I'm still going to give you the 15 minutes, right? We're going to give you 15 minutes. If your voice will hold out, because I know you've been going to, my God, you've been everywhere. down
I've been a
in
couple places
Washington
today.
and all over. So, but you obviously you went to the memorial for Reverend Caldwell. How come I'm not seeing her? I'm not. Are you?
I'm on the radio. I mean, I'm on the I don't know how I'm on actually. I don't know how this is going, but
no picture because she's on the phone. Okay, but
I'm on the phone.
The camera in the phone. You use it. Okay.
I'm on the phone in Zoom. I'm reading chats. I'm at a lot of places. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just do the platform so I won't forget to do it.
Okay, I have a multi-pronged platform, but we're going to speak about my today my running mate. But I've had a platform, an extensive platform, for now close to about 5 years. I had my aunt told me to write it down what you want to see, but I had a fully folded out, laid out platform specifically for myself and for our campaign with Kerry Butch.
Right. And that's Asbury Matters.
That's Asbury Matters. So with our campaign, well, just go for myself because I've told I don't do that enough, right? So I have, what do I stand for? Providing economic opportunities for all residents in Asbury, improving qualities of education, increasing affordable housing options, and rent stabilization. And this goes back. This isn't new. Improving community education across the city, economic development, community education. So you said that, but community education is understanding what's happening in the city. More transparency, but it's not just letting people know what's happening. It's showing them what's happening. It's engaging them in what's happening. And that's why me and Ms. Butch clicked so well, because her love of making sure that everybody is shown in all the committees. That is a push on how we can work together, the whole city. We were just on Asbury Park Radio last week, and one of the radio casters spoke about how do they get involved and why aren't they picked? And it's because, maybe they're not seen by the current council and administration. But it's different when I know Mr. Jean is a small business owner. He is engaged in his community. He is also hosting a political show every week that's been running for about 10 years between him and Pastor Tony. It's being part of the community that knows who are the stakeholders, the real stakeholders in the community.
Yeah, that was, of course, WYGG, the station that I was on before, with Asbury Radio. Asbury. This is now Asbury Podcast.
Yes. So and now it's called Good News Radio, and now you're Asbury Park Radio, right? So
no, Asbury Radio.
Asbury Radio.
Yeah. And you know who started that station? That was Abner Louima.
Ooh, I did not know that.
A Haitian man who took the settlement from a case, that famous case of police brutality.
Yes,
took the money, the settlement
I've met his mother.
And did you met his mother?
Yes, I met his mother numerous times in some of our social justice. She's part of an organization called Mothers of the Movement, who have had hurt, and Eric Gardner's mother is one of them, and Trayvon Martin, Sabrina Fortin is one of them. and they are engaged in social justice and policy, because that's where everything starts and ends in policy. I was listening to a lot of what the candidates were saying previous to me coming on, and some of it encouraged me, and some of it disappointed me and scared me immensely. Being part of this tapestry of, this blanket of the cities for the last, my life, but engaged for at least the last 10 to 12 years, I've seen and know some of the things that go on in the city, opportunities that we've taken and opportunities that we've missed. You spoke upon, people spoke upon taxes not going up, but your house value went up. So that caused your taxes to go up because we opted into a program that assessed our property rate every year for the last 5 to 7 years. In towns like Neptune that opted into it, it wasn't a great jump. It actually helped them because the prices slowly increased. But in towns like where a house that 5 years ago was valued at $80,000, but now is valued, just like Mr. Slosback was saying, may be valued at $600,000. That took your property taxes that may have been $1,500 to $2,000 a year to now $20,000 a year. So we've pushed out. That's great for someone who's coming in short term, want to flip some property. But that is horrible for the people who actually live in the town. And that's why stabilization and having a real plan on growth and development of our city is important. Part of also pushing into the future.
Wait.
Yes.
Felicia, take us over that again. How the increase in the values forced the taxes up, and then you jump to why that's related to needing stabilization, rent level and stabilization.
So
complete that vision for me.
All right. So say speaking about property tax or house value, in places like Jersey City, where they just had big studies saying that they didn't assess their property and, close to over 10 years, right? Or places like Jackson who did the same. So in that time, your property value could have stayed the same instead of comparables to what's, selling around you or the natural progression. But on the city-wide assessment, it stayed the same. That means your property tax stayed the same. Now, in this town, we opted into a pilot program, something new that the county was offering. We didn't have to do it, but we did. And we opted into this program that assessed our property value every year. Now, property value, like I said, and this is real, and I know these people, right? 5, 6 years ago, their house was worth $89,000. Their property tax was a little over 2, close to 3, because they're on the west side, right? Now their house is worth almost $600,000, which sounds good, right? They can get some equity out of it, but that is terrible for the fact if you want to stay in your house and your taxes now close to $20,000 a year, or similar thing, maybe about 17, right? And just like a family, when I was out canvassing, I met a woman who was a nurse and her husband was a pilot, and they lived in a vibe. And they said that their property tax when they got there was $10,000. Now it's over 20, and they have to leave because they cannot afford it. We have to. What are we doing in our town to stabilize the living expenses of the people here? We don't have rateables. Our city, we make these pretty gestures, but we aren't doing anything to increase the value, the quality of life, as I think Robert was saying, the quality of life in town. And that's because we don't have a plan. We don't have a plan to take our city into the 2000s and 20s and 30s and 40s into the next millennium. We don't have a plan. We can sit back. We need to invest in infrastructure. Our city as a whole will not prosper until we pour into every part of the city. We pour into the infrastructure of the west side. Build up. We have zoning issues that make no sense. We can build high rises on the ocean front, right? Which doesn't make any sense to the environment. We're giving out Bradley Cove. We took all the green acres off of it, right? We're building fancy beach clubs. But on the west, that doesn't make any sense. Now, if you go on the west side, it makes sense. It increased property value if you build up, right? It adds ocean views that increases property tax and also densifies in a less offensive way to the city, right? It brings the whole city up. And then we're going to put in infrastructure, lights. We don't invest in real green energy. We're on the ocean, right? When I was on the Board of Education, I bought Shot and Steam Electric in so we can invest in real education that will take us into the next level. That means invest in windmills. If we had started back then, when I was on the Board of Education with windmills, now the governor is about to put windmills on the ocean. We'll have jobs and training for everyone. Right? Let's talk about we have broad skies, right? We can invest in all kinds of solar panels on rooftops and invest in real development and training. Not just things, but having training for people of all ages so we can continue to grow into the future, right? The same in the Black community, right? In 2032, it says our net value will be zero. That's what all the studies say. And we're being left behind in a digital divide. The digital divide is very much shown in the education system right here in town, where they don't have the Wi-Fi structure, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the science labs, we don't have any of those things, and we don't have a relationship from the school board to the city council of any substantial thing more than just a show or inviting to a party or anything, a party or a festivity. We need to have real shared services and real joint education. What was it? We had Rob McEwen spoke about talents in town, but he is exactly correct when you talk about the talents in town. There's one young lady named Samia Bassoon, She went to the city manager because she has a technology business. And she said, look, I can Wi-Fi the whole city. I can make the whole city a hotspot where we can get free internet for everyone in the city. And then she went out and she worked with the Mercy Center trying to make that and was shut down by the city.
Why?
Right now, I don't know, Michael refused it. She said, I can give you everything, but you have to buy the equipment. I'll donate it for free. But you have to buy the equipment. Now, hence, hindsight being 2020, we come into a pandemic. And now we need infrastructure and Wi-Fi that can help the city and help our children. And because we made these era mistakes no more than 4 years ago, this was only 4 years ago, right? Our children are suffering as well as our community is suffering. We have to invest in a long vision, not just weak shows, right? We have to have real laid out plans with development and go outside the city. The beauty of Asbury Park is that we have everything here. But the hindrance of Asbury Park is that we don't go out to look for anything extra. Just because we don't see it right before us doesn't mean that it's not possible. We have to trust the people here, and we have to go out and find what we don't see. And we have the right to create what we don't see. An example of that would be when they did the charter study. And I was just speaking about this the other day. If we change one word in that charter study, there's a line in it that the city manager has to inform the city council on all decisions. That goes back to what Amy was saying, where the city manager runs the city. But it said inform, and with that word inform, yes, he or she does. But if they had changed that one word to consult, and I said this during the charter study, if you change that one word to consult, that means it's a partnership between the city council and the business administrator. We need a partnership, but we also need to understand that as the city council, you are the bosses. Together, all five of you sitting there, make all the decisions. You figure out what you want to be done, right? And they figure out how to do it. That's it. We figure out what, as we the people, and the paid professionals figure out how to do it, how to facilitate your plan, not their own plan, but your plans as the council people. We have to sit in our own authority and our own knowledge. And if we don't have it, it's okay. Go find it. It is not okay to be asked a question more than once and not go out to find the answer. That's not okay. You have a responsibility for close to 20,000 people, if they're documented or not, to make sure that they have the best life possible. And it's not okay to sit back and assume that somebody else is going to do it.
Wow. That's a whole lot, you know. That's a lot of ideas. It's a lot of you must read all the time. Oh my God. There's all this input. So
I do. It's important to me. It's important to me, Noreen.
You live and breathe this stuff. You eat this stuff for breakfast. You do. I know it. Because I hear you. How long have we been talking about this stuff? How long?
I can talk a lot.
But you know what's scary is, no, it's just we only have a minute and a half left.
I've been talking that long? Wow.
Yes.
So you can ask me a question since I took up so much.
The trouble is, you know, it's fascinating what you have to say, and I don't want to stop you, but everything that you say, there could be 10, 20 questions, you know, to digest it. In order to digest it, you know, you're a very, very bright young woman.
Thank you. And so are you?
She's still 39. She is.
No, I am not. I turned 41 on the 14th of September. I turned 41 on the 14th of September.
I know. I was just teasing you. That's my joke with you. So, gosh. So what would you do first? Say you get elected.
First,
what would you?
What would I do first? I will do an assessment, because it's irresponsible to come in anywhere and just jump in and think that you can start changing anything, right? You have
deal
to do
with assessments, property assessments.
I'll have to do assessment. No, an audit of the office, right? An audit
an assessment. Okay.
Right, assessment of the city, assessment of the staffing. I've offered a lot, but it's different when you take in redacted stuff. You have to go through, because it's irresponsible to just start making changes without understanding the full plan. And then we'll start implementing some of the stuff that's, you know, like I said, I can keep talking. Then we have
probably a half a minute.
So in the half a minute, I'm going to read what Asbury Park Matters stands for. We support rent stabilization and tax stabilization. We support increased job training and opportunities for all, especially our youth. We support all open public waterfront. We support fair budget for all residents. We support transparency in city government. We support creating human relations and civil complaint review boards. We prioritize the health and well-being of our residents here in Asbury Park. That's what we stand for, amongst more.
So the first thing you would do is go in there and make so would you hire an expert to do this? The assessment of how the operations are working in the city?
No, first you assess, that's later on. But first you have to assess what you have. And there's free entities and governmental entities that do this stuff for free, right? We don't have to spend a dime on some of these things.
I love that sound. I love that word, free.
There's free things to go. So we first, look, I'm not looking to come in and then spend a whole bunch of money. I'm fiscally responsible, right? But there's free ordinance, and it's good to have, an outside entity that has no other anything in it, not just to make another dollar, but to really get your city in order.
So
right?
who are these entities who do this for free? Who would you call?
So when there's housing ordinances, there's They're nonprofits. There's legal nonprofits. There's labor boards. All the stuff that's in this labor program that we made, employment program that we spent $90,000 on a few years ago. The state of New Jersey and the labor board does for free. In fact, it almost mirrors exactly what the Department of Labor did for free in the county, right? We turned down partnerships, right, that we could use. We turned down money that we can use to grow. We don't develop and imagine. The CBG money we use for nice little streets and nice parks, and we did put some into the Renaissance and in the housing, but not in the development. Was Neptune spent $12 million into making sure that something stayed affordable and for middle income people, right? We did nothing to that scale, but yet we're the only place. Asbury Park is the only urban city in Monmouth County. Every federal dollar that has to come from any urban initiative has to come through the Asbury Park area. Hence, that's why everything is the greater Asbury Park area. When we turned over the control of CBG, we missed out on continue to miss out on such great opportunities. But what I heard from the head of HUD is that we can take it back if we want to, but we should take it back with a plan. And that might step on some people's toes, right? The county don't want to give back the money. I wouldn't want to give back the control of the money, but that's something that we can do here, right? It is a sin to continue to move around in this state of the world, right? In this pandemic, in this state of emotional, social, economic crisis that we're in, to continue to tell somebody else to come into our house and, hey, just do what you want. We have to take control as a community and design a place that we want to live on. Because I don't want to leave Asbury Park. I kind of like the pretty trees and the saltwater air. The air is good and it smells good here. It's good living. I enjoy. I don't have an impoverished mindset, and no one here should have an impoverished mindset, from the council to the person that is living on the park bench. We are in a valuable place, and we're valuable people, and we can continue to move as such. And again, that's to stop me because I can talk.
I'm saying, that is a lovely place to end, and a lovely image to give us to go forward and make our decisions, because we did go over a lot on our time frame, but I think that nobody was just waxing on about how great they are. They were all talking about facts and things that they would do, and they were well thought out. So I think that this is great. You're all great. I think maybe Arthur has something there that we just need a bigger council, because we are taking on bigger business than ever before. But I
draft the ordinance for that. Draft the ordinance for it, Maureen.
Draft the ordinance.
It's possible. It's possible under our form of government.
Okay. Yes. Now that we've seen that ordinances can be drafted, and damn well, actually. All right. I'm going to let you off the hook now and send you back to whatever project you're working on tonight. Thank you so much.
I had a third thing to do. A fourth thing to do, and I had to miss. They were having a shout out to Miss Patrice. Local Art was having a jam at the Local Art in the courtyard tonight. So I missed it. Blame it on my heart, Miss Patricia. Patty, I am sorry.
Well, you have to clone yourself. That's the only answer to it.
Pretty much.
Thank you very
and a shout
much.
out to my son. Yes. One time. Shout out to my son, Zachariah Simmons Bryant.
Zachariah.
Yes, I mean, Lord watched over.
Your brother.
My brother is doing well. Calvin Simmons, he is doing well, and I'm proud of him, always. I'm proud of my whole family. Happy birthday to my mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. And tell him to keep on track there.
He is.
He's better now. That's tremendous. Watch that blood pressure. Okay.
Yes.
And so this is Kerry Butch and Felicia Simmons in the Asbury Matters party up there. Slate. All right.